The title charge with Distillery is almost complete, so today we're going to focus on a big cup quarter final. We've also just had our youth intake message. We're going to go and meet the players together, and fingers crossed before too long we'll be celebrating promotion to the second tier, because boy do we need to get it wrapped up. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 15 of Lifting Spirits with me, Daniel. It is a big one today as we are back for a cup quarter final against Moyola Park. It's a chance for us against the side we played last week to try and get the cup wrapped up that we may never play in again. It looks like we're going to run away with the league, but of course Mikey Place is part of this Moyola Park side and he'll be looking to do damage on us, having rejected a move. If you're looking forward to all of that, as well as our youth intake, which has just come through this morning, then please do put a thumbs up on the video and subscribe for daily FM23 content. We have managed to lose 2 more stars as well, few big players leaving and some of the younger ones too. But overall, we're keeping hold of the core of our squad, and with promotion, I don't know for sure, but I hope we'll be able to offer proper contracts. We'll find out all of that in due course. Thank you as always for coming along. We'll be starting our new season later today in the head coach, so please do get up to date with that in the eye above. But let's go straight to the transfer screen, because despite the window being shut, we lost some players towards the end of the month. And the first one of those is a player who decided to leave on deadline day for another team. That Brian Healy, who went to Dundalk, where he's not even featuring much, which is bizarre. But he was our first choice right winger, so that gamble of releasing O'Hanlon to try and get in Mikey Place is really backfired, because we're now playing a youth team player out there, and albeit they're doing okay and the title's all but wrapped up, it's going to leave us a big problem for the summer. We did get in a replacement. Linfield came to the rescue again. Liam Court, a backup, just involved in the squad. Few sub appearances so far. He's not set the world alight, but it's important to have a backup option, and Liam Court gives us that. The other player that left, it was one that was being muted for a while, but it has eventually happened. Ethan Carey decided to walk. Wasn't happy at being third choice keeper. Got the offer to play for Ballyclare with money. He was always going to go. So Ethan Carey, good servant for us, but he's off. Of course, that's not so much of an issue now, because Graham's younger and has bigger potential, and we've also got Mitchell as a first choice. But it is disappointing to keep losing players at this stage, and particularly those like him, who are playing for free without an appearance fee. Despite all of that though, we have been romping to victories in the league. And I say romping as in we've been consistent, but we haven't been brilliant. If we go and have a look at the schedule, almost all of our wins have come by 1 goal. But there is a standout feature this year, and you can see it clearly from last season. Defensively, we are so watertight, and we have been really poor there in the first season, particularly away from home. I mean, look at those games in this spell. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clean sheets is a brilliant effort, and it's been the difference this year because we haven't really scored any more goals, and we've probably not had a greater striker until January. Let's go and have a look at a game since you were with me though. You were here for Dolinstown away, a 4-1 victory, a rare big one. We won in the Intermediate Cup, but again had to bring on our first teamers. In the end though, it was the backups who scored the goals. Robinson, McKiernan, Snoddy, one of the youth centre-halves, and Piers McVarnock getting 4 there. A 1-0 win at home to Ballymacash Rangers. It was Jordan Jenkins, the new striker again. Delightful finish, as was his one against Port Stewart that was quickly followed up by Mark McKee. A 3-0 win against Shankill United. That was McKiernan, McVarnock and another youth player from last year's intake in Andrew Miller. We then had 2 wins this month as well. 2-1 against Banbridge, Levingston and Buchanan, our youth player who's now starting on the right wing. And 2-1 at Moyola Park. Of course, Mikey Place had to score the goal against us. I bet he's regretting his move now. And Jordan Jenkins and Mark McKee, again the goal scorers for us. But let's go and have a look at the message that came through this morning, because we got our new announcement of youth intake players. I've seen the message, but I haven't gone and looked at any of them yet. All I've seen is that the first few had 1 player who was 2.5 star up front. So let's hope the rest are of that level as well. I've got a couple of 1.5 stars there. If we keep going down, 2.5 star centre midfielder and a 2-star right winger. So there are some talents in this side. Let's go and have a look at the best among them though. If Marty Bell can be a good backup striker, might solve our problem behind Jenkins next year. Let's have a look at him. 2.5 ability, 5 potential. You are Casual personality, but he's quick. He's a good finisher. He's got a good first touch. His composure's not bad. Not the best off the ball and a little bit short, a little bit lacking in strength and physical nature. But he's 15. He might grow. He might get stronger. And I'm sure he will improve. So definitely a talent for the future. Maybe not first team ready yet. The other 2.5-star player was Colin Robinson, centre midfielder who can go forward as well. He's alright, you know. Again, not the best in the air, not the strongest, but good teamwork, work rate, determination, a leader, naturally fit, and maybe not the best technically, but there's something to build on there. So I don't think any of these are going to be breaking in immediately. But if we can win the title earlier, it's a good chance for us to get a few of these some appearances, even if it is off the bench. The 2-star winger is Chris Walsh. He is the next best. He's alright. Nothing spectacular and not as good as Buchanan, who we promoted from last year. But overall, some real prospects in that youth intake. The question for us, though, is how many can we bring through and how many are we going to need to rely on next year? It relies on us keeping a very strong squad. We are edging closer to promotion now. I would imagine it gets done. But the question we've got to ask, and the one I don't know the answer to, is what happens when we get promoted? Are we then going to get a budget to get players on part-time contracts? Or are we going to be relying on non-contracts again? Because if we are, we're still going to keep losing people. We've got Jack Chambers, who's been an absolute superstar, best trainer at the club. He's now wanted and looks like the next that might leave. Ethan Warnock's still getting interest. McVarnock, Lynch, Shearer, all rejected moves in January. Particularly as they dwindle out of the squad play less games, we're not going to be able to keep them happy. And we can't replace them with players that aren't on wages. So, very difficult situation if we don't get a bigger wage bill and if we aren't allowed to get people on part-time deals. But that's all to come in the next few weeks. For today is all about Moyola Park. We're going to skip ahead for a few hours, get to kick-off time. Because let's be honest, the quarter-final of the Cup, it's a competition we want to win. If we can get that, as well as the league title, it would be one hell of a season. With 14 points clear in the league, there's only 8 games to go. It seems like a matter of time in that one, but can we edge closer to the double? Back in a minute to find out. Well, fitness test time, and thankfully we've largely avoided injuries as well this season. We've got a week off after this one, so we can go first choice. We know Mark Kelly's a threat, we know Mikey Place is a threat, and we'd like to sign the latter in the summer. We've got the 2 Linfield loanees who are unavailable today, but the first 11 should be good enough. So let's get the team picked, and we'll be back in a second to run through it. Well, here is the team. It will consist of an unchanged starting 11 apart from, and I nearly forgot again, Neil Graham coming in goal. The rest of the team is as you would expect. Buchanan, the new right winger, he was in last year's intake. He is developing, he is improving. He's starting to look alright. Turned up with a goal and an assist after a couple of poor performances to start off. He is definitely adapting to the level now. Got to talk about Mark McKee as well. Now one of the weaker players in the starting 11 according to the attributes and the star ratings. That's bizarre. The team though is Neil Graham in goal. McGill and McGivern the fullbacks with Farquhar and Reid at centre half. Levingston and Chambers the midfield 2. Buchanan, McKee and Withers the attacking midfield 3. He's refound form again on the left hand side. And Jordan Jenkins, great player up front. 4 in 6. He's been exactly what we needed. Now all we've got to do is get promoted and get these guys on contract so they can train properly. Let's go and get into the game at Moyola Park. We won there 2-1 in the league last week, but what will they be like in the cup competitions? Well, we know it's a good side on paper, and given the players they've signed, we knew how good a target man Kelly was last year. Parkhill's a very good player. Then they've added Mikey Place, who we wanted to charge us to the title. I don't get how they haven't kicked on more, to be honest, but we're going to tell the lads we're on a good run, impress us. We're going to go and get into the first half. It would be lovely to win another cup competition, but the main objective for the year is promotion. And here we are with a Graham goal kick. 10 minutes on the clock, playing out from the back with McGill. Down the line to Buchanan, the youngster. Nice to see a youth player in the team. Gives us a little bit of a prop up with the fans and the board who want to see those types of young players come through. Henry picks the ball up at right back though and gives it back to his goalkeeper. Long downfield towards Mikey Place. Beats Reid to it. He's got the pace, has he? No. Brilliant defending from Reid. He's out of contract at the end of the year. One I'd like to sign, but can't at the moment without releasing players. So it is really important that we get promoted and get that budget increase. Because as we've discussed before, the squad will only get weaker if we don't. As Kelly goes in behind, he's 1-on-1. Good start, Moyola Park. It is not a good bit of defending. I've talked up our clean sheets. I've talked up our brilliant displays this year. And there we go. Individual error, 1-0, Moyola Park. It's interesting actually, as we're back with a corner 10 to the break. Levingston loses out at a far stick. Chambers will keep it in. The reason that Moyola Park look more of a threat today, I think, they're playing a flat 4-4-2 with Place and Kelly up front, who are obviously their two best players. In the league game, they were playing Mikey Place on the right of midfield and only one up front. Now, I think that took away a lot of their attacking threat. We were able to start fast. Here, they've got a bit more of a threat on the counter. As McGill comes down the right-hand side. Maybe it's the cup approach, just get the win. Buchanan in, brilliant work. McKee across goal. The keeper recovers to save with his feet. It's a glorious chance. It should have been all square. But as it is, I think we're going to go into half-time 1-0 down. Moyola Park take the lead. They're denying the trophy. And that's despite the fact we've been the better side. Through the dressing room, let's point the finger, show some desire. There's some inspiration in there. Let's see if they respond on the pitch. Well, 25 minutes to go. There's not a lot happening, to be honest, so I think subs are going to be of the order in a minute. Henry by the corner flag. Bit early for time wasting, isn't it, guys? As Withers blocks the cross. The second one's in, though. Smith up. McGill with a dive-in header. And McKee can counter-attack. Through the centre he goes. There's support on the right from Buchanan. He's got some up with him. Levingston's one. Back to McGill on halfway. Over the top towards McKee. It's overhit. Will the defender deal with it? He does. Hoofs long downfield. McGill intercepts though for Levingston. Through ball to Jenkins. He's one-on-one. Doesn't normally require many chances. But that one's wide of the post. He should have scored it. That is a big, big miss for Lisburn Distillery. We're going to fall behind. And if we go out, that will be the moment it got away. As Withers holds the ball up for McGiven. We look a lot better now. Withers down the left-hand side. Puts the cross in early. Jenkins up. Can't win it. Clark heads away. Only as far as McKee, 25 yards out. To Levingston. Oh, just over. Cracking effort from distance. It doesn't go in though. We're going to have to make subs. We need to try and find a way out of this. McGann will come on as centre-half for Farquhar. He will play in the covering centre-half role. Chambers will come off for Owen McCall. He will play as a Mazzala on support. And Levingston will go as the deep line playmaker, but still a threat from set pieces. And then we've got McKiernan, loves a super sub goal in this competition. He comes on for Jordan Jenkins. It's a downgrade on paper, but Jenkins has missed a sitter and not had a good game. All the changes made, let's go and get into it. 20 minutes to save our place in the cup. Well, we've gone attacking, but to no avail. Only 1 minute added on despite all the substitutions. And look at that, we have been well and truly FM'd. Not a bad performance, an individual error cost us. But that attacking threat went, and that's a surprise today. I know we've not been ruthless all season, we've not scored loads of goals, but that is a little bit disappointing. Let's go and get ahead to next week. We play Limavady United, the bottom side in the league. Hopefully a chance for us to edge closer to the title and forget all about today's game. Well, back for match day, and I don't know what it is this year. Players keep getting unhappy and angry, in fact, about you praising their training performances. It really is quite bizarre. Let's go and get through the tactical meeting. We're playing the bottom side at home as we need a couple of wins to wrap up the title. It's basically the dream fixture, isn't it? So let's go and get the opposition instructions on. Let's go and make the changes we need. And we'll be back in a minute to run through the team for what should be a home banker. So yet again, the only change is in goal because let's be honest, we played really well last week. We just didn't take chances and gave away a sloppy goal. So Mitchell returns between the sticks. He's doing pretty well for us, in fact. Neil Graham, who played last week, he's called up for Northern Ireland's under-18, so we might have another Bobby Harvey story there. The rest of the team, exactly as you'd expect. Jenkins, I know he had a poor game, but generally he's been very good for us. One chance, one goal. We could do with that today. This should be a win on paper. But should is always the key word in that sentence. As here we go, 2 changes for the visitors who are really struggling at the bottom this year, just never got going. So let's go and get through the dressing room. Let's go and tell the lads we want to be impressed. And hopefully, as a few of them are inspired, we'll get some sort of response. We'll go positive from the start as well. Well, this has been an awful half of football. 38 minutes gone, and we're 1-0 down, having not had a shot on target yet. It's been no highlights, it's been no attacks, and we are getting shocked. Complacency is creeping in, and it is causing a big problem. Don't tell me we're going to have the classic end-of-season nosedive when chasing a title in FM. Throw the water bottle. It's a performance that deserved it. I don't care if you're looking anxious or stressed. You get out there and play like half-decent players, because we should be wiping the floor with this lot. As it's a corner kick for them again, into the back post to Finnegan. Oh my word, we are collapsing. Why did I turn FM off on a run of victories? Why on earth did I do it? Finnegan heads in for 2. The classic superstitions are all out. We're going to go attacking and chase the game, but they look like the side who are top, and we look like the hopeless ones at the bottom here. Into the back post. Mitchell's made a hash of it, and now it's a penalty. Oh my word. This is the worst defensive display I've seen all season. I don't know what's going on. It's so FM, isn't it? Playing against bottom at home, and this is what happens. Mitchell lets it through his hands. Oh dear. I cannot remember anything like it. 3-0. The leaders trail the bottom team. And just to give a bit of perspective on this, if we look at the league table, yes, they've only had 3 shots on target, by the way. 14 points in 20 games. We've not lost a game yet this season. I mean, it should have been written in the stars, shouldn't it? 3-0 is the deficit. We'll make changes now, but we ain't coming back from this. So all 5 changes at once. McGann, Warnock, Core, Lynch and McKinnon on. Buchanan, McGivern, Farquhar, Jenkins and Withers all off. Yes, there are worse players coming on, but they can't perform any worse. So let's just go, encourage the lads, get them back into this game. Fingers crossed there's goals on the way as McKee's corner finds Reed. Headed away as far as McGann, down to Chambers. Left-footed chance to Kerr one. And a big deflection takes it in. It's an ugly goal, it's an undeserved goal. But we'll take it. And I think we still keep up the record of every shot on target in this game going in. We've gone attacking, we're chasing it. It would be a miracle if we nick something from this. But to be fair, Limavady are keeping it quiet. McGann's now picked up a knock. And it's all going wrong. We're going to go very attacking. But this is an awful result as McKee puts it into McGann. Heads just over the bar. Comes to nothing. The stand's emptying. I mean, there wasn't much of it to empty, but I don't blame them. I mean, thank God we're in a position where we can probably afford to lose every game now. Because this is the worst performance I might have ever seen from this side. But certainly this season. It's been an absolute catastrophe. The unbeaten run goes. The defensive solidity has just completely dried up. And as Chambers tries to get us a second consolation, we got some thinking to do. Long towards McKiernan. Out of the cup, struggling in the league as McKiernan hits the post. It was a half chance from distance. It was nothing more. And we've got to go back to the drawing board. Because if these lads thought this was over, well, it certainly isn't. They're going to have to think again. Very unacceptable. Don't care if you're anxious. We're now going to have to find a way to bounce back. I mean, the only positive we can take, Dollingstown lost at home. They've not got any closer. It's 14 points the gap to both sides below us. Moyola Park, I don't know what's going on. They've lost again. But overall, that was just the most bizarre game I've faced all season. I know we lost the one last week against Moyola Park, but we were excellent. It was a very us performance. We've been so efficient this season, so solid at the back. That's the first time we've really collapsed. So let's go and have a look at the schedule for when it's going to be back. Of course, it may just depend on when we can wrap up the title and how our form goes. But we've got Tobermoor United in 2 games' time, so that might be the one. Well, depending on what happens in the next game against Armagh, we might yet be back against Tobermoor United. Still potentially a chance to wrap up the title there. And of course then the league splits and we've got 5 more chances. But a very head-scratching moment that. A first league defeat. I know we had that little sticky run at the start of December, but as I said then, draws aren't disastrous. What is a disaster is that performance. I can take the loss in the cup because we played well. It was just an individual moment or mistake. But that was a catastrophe. And we haven't had one of them for a long, long time. So hopefully you're looking forward to us bouncing back. I still don't think there's any doubt of us winning the title. 14 points clear with 7 to go. Thanks to Dollingstown losing as well. I'm not sure it can go wrong from here. However, the big question for us at the moment is, can we get that wage budget for next year? Because otherwise, we're going to have to go back to the drawing board, rebuild our team again. And I really don't want to have to do that. So let me know in the comments if you've got any previous experience, whether I can expect to be able to start to offer part-time contracts. If you did enjoy the episode, seeing us take a couple of humblings, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe for daily FM23 content from 2 long-term stories. We'll be starting season 3 in Head Coach later today. That one up in the eye above as always. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the You've Been Take 2. It wasn't our best one, but there's definitely some stars for the future. And hopefully I'll see you same time tomorrow, as we might be able to have a belated party after throwing the first chance at it today. Surely we can't lose every game now. Maybe it was just a blip in the road. I'll see you tomorrow to find out.